Jennings, first and foremost my aunt, but truly a storyteller, an oral historian, a museum curator, and has been all across the United States and probably then some. Storytelling, was one of the premier storytellers for the new opening of the National Museum of the American Indian, and we're very blessed here at little old Tomaquag to have her here and abuse her royally, pay her nothing, and have her story tell for us. So we're very blessed in that. So I want to welcome Paulla Jennings, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you very much. I'm especially happy to see all the young boys and girls here today. You are the next generation, and you are all very, very special. But without the elders, we wouldn't be here. So this story is in honor of my mother, who is sitting here with the brown, who is 91. And my great nephew, her great-great-grandson, who is standing over here, who was standing with his dad while he was drumming, Tomaquag. Tomaquag is something with the three fires.
He dances for the three fires.
He dances for the three fires. Well, many years ago, and I'm not going to tell you how many years, when I was born, my father stood on the end of the street and he said, "Today I am a man, for I have a daughter, because women are the givers of life, and they are to be honored." My father's name was Roaring Bull. He was the last traditional chief of the Narragansett tribe. And my mother is Pretty Flower. And boys and girls, my Indian name is Sunflower. Does anybody know what a sunflower looks like?
The sunflower looks like brown in the middle.
That's
yellow
right.
petals.
That's right. And the birds can eat the sunflower seeds, right? And even people can eat the seeds. So they all give us things. All plant life gives us things that we need. And many, many moons ago, all of our seasons were all the same. And we always kept taking from Mother Earth, and we'd take from the plant life, and we'd get berries and fruit, and we'd take everything, and we'd use it. And then we had nothing to take its place. And the poor plants worked so hard to get all the strawberries up, and the corn up, and the sunflowers up, and all of the trees to grow tall so that they could have birds in their branches. But this went year after year, and we were wearing poor old Mother Earth out. And the Creator came and said, "I made a beautiful earth. I gave them trees and ponds and oceans and land and hills and valleys and all of these things. And they're using it all up." And he said, "I must think about this." And he went for a walk, and he walked around the pond, and he looked, and he could see the fish there But they were going down deeper and deeper in the ponds because the people were taking so many. And then he walked out in the bushes and he saw the cranberries and he said, oh, the people are taking them all. They're not leaving any. And all the roots of all the plants were getting tired. And the creator, whose name is Katanawit, thought about this. And he said, I know what we'll do. He said, I will make a cold snap come. And when that cold comes, the winds will howl and the snow will come down. And the ponds and the lakes and the rivers will turn to ice. And then all the plants can rest. And he said, yes, that's a good idea. Then he thought about it. He said, if I do half the year, where it's all the same, and then the other half of the year, it's all cold, the people might starve to death. And he thought about it, and thought about it, and he walked high up on the hill. And he looked and he saw the birds circling around there. And he said, every once in a while they go to a tree at a certain time, and they lay eggs. And then little baby birds come chip, 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 chip. And he said, oh, that's a good thing. I know what I'll do. I will have year-round, summer season, just part of the year, and then part of the year, the winter season, and part of the year, we'll call it spring. And that's when plant life will come back to life, and the trees will hold their arms up higher, and the roots will go deeper, and the ponds will pour out, and the fish and the frogs and all the living things will come up around the ponds, including the turtles, and they were buried deep down in the mud. Then he thought about that, and he said, oh, that would be great. Yes. And he looked at the trees and he saw them with their branches out and all the green leaves and the nests and everything on it. And he thought, their arms must get tired up there. They have the leaves, they have the bird's nests, and now squirrels and chipmunks are climbing up the trees. Even little boys like to climb up trees. And sometimes little girls climb up trees too. And he said, well, perhaps we'll have 4 seasons. Yes. We'll have the winter season. We'll have the spring season when everything comes to life. We'll have the summer season where it's nice and warm and all the crops will be right. And then in the fall, all the plants and the animals and the people know it's time to go for rest for in the winter. And look, let's let the leaves all be painted in red and orange and yellow and gold and brown. And all those trees will look so beautiful. And the people can take shelter under them. And the animals can go deep inside. And in the bushes, the rabbits can hide and the skunks can get down deep. And in all the bushes, the birds will hide. Yes, that will be a good thing. And he said, I wonder if the people will like it. So he went to an old tribal elder. And he said, Grandfather, do you think the people would like 4 seasons? Do you think Mother Earth would like a time to rest, and a time to give harvest, and a time to cleanse the air? And he said, yes. He said, but being cold, most people don't like that. And you got to put on more leggings, and you got to put on more furs, and you got to carry all this stuff. And what about food if we haven't saved enough? And the Creator said, well, even when the snow comes down, and even when the ponds and the lakes are covered with thick black ice, it gives everything a time to rest. And when that snow starts coming down, it will clear all the sickness out of the air. The sickness from the animals, the sickness from the boys and girls, the sickness from the elders, and from the moms and dads. And the people thought, aha, that's a good idea. And I know what we can do. We can have Nakomo. Nakomo means giveaway. And everybody can give something to somebody else. And we can share what we have. If you have corn, you can put your corn in the pot. If you have dried venison, you can put your venison in the pot. If you have ground nut potatoes, you can put them in there. And maybe you have some acorns, which you have cleansed, and you can grind them. And Johnny cakes. Oh, that would be good. Those are good corn cakes. And if you save for maple syrup, you can put it at the top. And then old grandmother said, yes. And then we can sit around and tell stories, and we can share, and we can teach our young people how to do the things, how to make baskets, how to make pots, how to make tools, how to sew up moccasins. And we can live happily together and share. So now, sometime every year, when we have Storytelling Moon, shortly thereafter, the snow starts to come down. And when it does, be grateful, because it's cleansing the air and taking the sickness. So all the boys and girls, and the moms and dads, and the grandmas and the grandpas can live happily ever after, telling each other a new story about themselves. I hope I have spoken. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. This podcast series is presented by Tomaquag Museum. Visit our website at www.tomaquagmuseum.org. Tomaquag Arts programs are sponsored by Amica Insurance, Auto, Home, Life, Amica, with support from NIFA and the Native Arts Program. The Indigenous Artways podcast is funded in part by the Rhode Island State Council of the Arts, investment in arts and culture. Illustrations and production by Jared Swiftcloud Best. Music presented by Eagle and Hawk. www.eagleandhawk.com. Support this and other great podcast content at our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/artways.